Hey guys, it's Kristen and Bethany here, and today we're going to be talking about 6 red flags to look for in a romantic relationship. Romantic relationships can seriously be so complicated. We've been there, and we get a lot of emails from you girls asking questions about specific things in your relationship, like, is this a problem? Should I be concerned about this? And we remember having those same questions in our romantic relationships, and in fact, we would even have people say like, hey, have you noticed this? I'm kind of concerned about that. And so every relationship has struggles. Every relationship works through conflict and different things. That's normal.
No relationship is perfect.
Yes, and no person on either side in the relationship is perfect.
That's for sure.
But when you have concerns or you're looking at something and you're not sure, like, should I be concerned about this or should I not? It's hard to know what to do with those things. And so in this video, our goal is to give you just a quick rundown of just some important things to look for in a relationship just to be aware of. And the cool thing with this is you can actually turn this list around and say, okay, am I the person in the relationship that's having the struggle here? Do I need to work on something? Or in a romantic relationship with this guy, is there something that's maybe a concern that I need to get some outside counsel on? So that's really our heart here in this video, is to help you discern some potential problem areas in the romantic relationship.
And now this is a list designed for Christian girls. So girls or young ladies, women, however old you are in a romantic relationship, you are wanting to marry a godly man, you're a Christian, and you're wanting to move in that direction. And so this is who that list is specifically designed for. The first red flag to keep an eye out for is if he has a shallow relationship with God. Now remember, you are not looking for Mr. Perfect, because you are not Miss Perfect.
No, we're not perfect exist.
There's no perfect relationship. There's no one who has the perfect relationship with God. And trust me, you are not looking for the man who's like, well, he needs to be like the ultimate pastor before I can marry him. We're not talking about that. But we're talking about if you're looking for a Christian guy and you want to have a godly Christian marriage, and you find this guy and you're in a relationship with him and you're like, well, he claims to be a Christian, but then you start to notice like his relationship with God is really shallow. Like he never reads the Bible. You know, he's not really good about going to church. He kind of shows up with you when he needs to. He's not really interested in pursuing the things of God for himself. Like, you know, when it comes to Bible studies or getting accountability or anything like that, he's kind of like, more in word only. And so if that is the situation in your relationship right now, we would just really caution you to say, hey, maybe I need to get some outside advice about this. Talk to a godly older woman. You don't need to go straight to him and say, hey, what about your relationship with God? What are you doing? Don't do that. Go and seek outside advice. So when we're sharing these red flags, that's what we're talking about. So if you see in your relationship there's a shallow relationship with God going on in there, we would encourage you to seek some outside advice.
And the second red flag to keep an eye out for is if in the relationship he pulls you down spiritually. And so what we mean by this, if you're genuinely a girl who's seeking the Lord, wanting to honor him, wanting to grow in your relationship with him and grow and become a godly woman, and you're with a guy who's like, that's not really that valuable. That's not really that important to me. And when you bring up things or say, hey, let's go to this Christian event or let's read this book together, and he's like, not interested, and he kind of discourages you in that area, then that's going to be hard in the long run, because we see in Ephesians 5 that ultimately husbands are called to disciple and love their wives. They're supposed to be the spiritual leaders in their home. And so
pulling them forward,
pulling you forward, encouraging you, and together as a team, you're both doing that for each other. But if it's one-sided, that's going to be really hard in the long run. So we just advise you, like Bethany said, seek some outside counsel from a godly woman if that's what you're seeing in the relationship.
And red flag number 3, he's stuck in sinful addiction. So this could be anything from porn addiction, alcohol addiction, drug abuse, anger problems. Those are some of the big red flags that you want to keep an eye out for. And now, this is something that can be very sensitive, that oftentimes, you might not necessarily always even know about in the beginning when you got into the relationship. But if you know about these things and you're like, well, I don't really want to tell anyone, maybe it'll go away once we get married or once, we move further into the relationship, please don't do that. We really want to encourage you to seek some outside advice about this, because we don't know the ins and outs of the situation, only you do. And so the worst possible thing that you can do is keep it a secret, because when it comes to addictions, where it's not like, it wasn't just like a one-time thing, it's like this is kind of a pattern, something that's going on, it's habitual. You really want to seek outside advice about those sorts of things. So we want to challenge you to go talk to a godly older woman about those specific things.
And number 4, he's pressuring you to compromise sexually. Now this can be a tricky one, because if you're feeling pressured, you might have this mixture of feelings of like, well, he desires me, he wants me, he must think I'm beautiful, he wants to be sexually active with me. But if in the relationship you're a girl who's like, wow, I want to honor God with my purity, I know that sex is such an awesome thing, that God has created this passionate expression of love for married couples to enjoy, that's my goal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm after. And you look at this guy and he's pressuring you. That is not actually true love. Because the Bible says that true love puts others above themselves. It places others' interest. It strives to love others as Christ would love them selflessly. True love says, I want what's best for you, and I want what God says is best for you, and I'm going to help pursue that in this relationship. So if you are feeling pressured, even subtly, again, we just encourage you to talk to a godly woman in your community, in your church. We keep saying that because we don't know your specific situation and we can't personally help you navigate that, but that is something serious that you do want to seek outside counsel on.
And number 5, wise people in your life don't support the relationship. This one hits kind of close to home for me because I was in a relationship and this was my story. The wise people around me that I trusted and cared about were not in full support of my relationship. And so I remember being in that situation and feeling like maybe they just want me to be single and feeling defensive towards that. And I know a lot of you probably feel defensive and kind of like, well, you don't know our story, or you don't know this is really a great relationship. But I just want to encourage you, don't do that. That's what I did for way too long. And it wasn't a good idea. Once I kind of left the stage of infatuation and saw clearly, I was like, they were actually right. The wise people around me were actually giving me wisdom, and they loved me and they cared about me. And so I would encourage you to welcome that advice. Don't put up barriers and say, stay away. It's our relationship. Get out of here. No, welcome it, because there's so much wisdom in people that can see clearly, because so often we're blinded by love. We can't see clearly.
Yes.
He's so cute. His muscles, they just overtake your brain. But don't do that. Really listen to the wise counselors around you.
And red flag number 6, he's obsessed with himself. Now, we all have selfishness. Okay, so like we said, no guy's gonna be perfect. No guy's gonna walk perfectly. But what we're talking about here is a guy who is clearly obsessed with himself. So when you're with him, like, here's just a few things that might be going on. He's really irritated. He's quick to find fault in others. He's obsessed with his muscles and his outward appearance. He usually thinks of his comforts and needs before yours. His main concern in life are his dreams. He doesn't really care about your dreams. He's just overly concerned about himself all around. And as you're in this relationship, you're starting to feel that, like, wow, there's 2 of us here, but it feels like maybe there's only one. That's something to be genuinely concerned about, because that is something that's not just going to go away as the relationship progresses. If you get married, he's not just going to switch and change. And so that's something you really need to take a step back and say, okay, who is this person really, and what's going on here, and seek some outside counsel to see if this is something you need to address.
So those were just 6 of the red flags. We know that there are many more, and we know that each relationship, situation, circumstance is a little bit different. So this isn't just like straight across the board, like this is going to be the same for everyone, because we know the circumstances and the individual people really play into the relationship. And so that's why we just encourage you, seek outside advice about the relationship, because we're not there in person, and you know those wise people that you can go to who can help you. So we encourage you to do that. And if you want more, in our book, Love Defined, we actually wrote an entire chapter on this topic with 10 red flags, so you'll get 4 more, plus just more wisdom to help you build your relationship on the right foundation. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from us, you can subscribe to our channel below, because we post new videos every Wednesday. And if you want to keep up with us on a more regular basis, you can find us on all the social media platforms and on our website over at girldefined.com.
Flags to look for? No. I feel like you've got the intro.
Oh, really? I can say that.
Yes.
Look for is I'm going to say like 1, right? The first red, I'm losing it. You can kind of tell that I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, it was so long. Virtually. So what we
At you, I forgot what the other ones were.
You combined the last 2.
A million times better.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Do what we can. Subscribe to our channel below. I'm literally talking French.
If you like what you're seeing here on this YouTube channel and you want to help the Girl Defined channel keep going, then would you come on over to patreon.com and just pledge $1 or $2 per video that we make to help our channel financially grow and continue producing this sort of content. You can find out more by clicking the link below.